So many people are saying how hard it is right now. Everybody's saying it's so hard. Everybody's saying it's so hard. And the reason why they're saying it's so hard is because the people that they depend on so much, they're finding out that those people are crooked. That those people really don't have your best interests. And it's sad because we're like, we need them to fix this. We need them to fix this mess that they've created. You got to fix it. I'm going to tell you where we all went wrong. We all decided that we were going to allow them to control us and tell us how much money we should be making, what field we should be in, what we should be doing, and how we should be dreaming and how we should be living. We allow somebody else to create that vision for us. We're allowing somebody else to tell us how much money we should be paying in taxes and how much money we should be giving to this person and how much money we should be giving to that. How much money it costs for us to live here and how much it costs to live there. But we're not taking the responsibility for ourselves and saying, look here, I see that these people do not care. Look at all the money laundering that they've been doing. All the crooked things that have been just happening all around. And you're still saying that you want them to fix this. You don't get it. You do not get it, and that's the problem. The problem is not them. See, a person is going to be who they are. And when the person shows you who they are, you just need to believe them. We're always trying to change people, and we're always trying to say that this person should do something this way and this person should do something that way. But why are we trying to change the person? Let them be who they are. They're revealing it to you. Let them. Now that you know who they are, now that you see what they've been doing all of this time, how they have been wronging you all this time, now you have to ask yourself, what am I going to do? Am I going to continue to keep depending on them? And am I going to continue to keep saying, you know what? I will let you take care of everything and I won't worry about anything. How much sense does that make? How much sense does that make to allow you to still give this person or this entity or this government control over your life when they have showed to you that they do not care anything about you? They have showed it to you and they're doing it right now, and you're still depending on them to provide the way for you. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. You need to stop giving up. You got to stop giving up. You gave up and went into their hands and said, you know what? I'm going to allow you to control everything. I'm going to allow you to take care of everything. And I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm going to turn my head this way and I'm going to let you do what you got to do. But then that stuff gets uncovered and then you're like, wait a minute, you were doing all this the whole time? You were stealing from me? You were taking money from the poor and giving to the rich? You were doing what? Come on, y'all. You can't be surprised at something that was already going on. You just turned a blind eye. And you gave up because you said that you didn't want to have to deal with it. You didn't want to deal with it. So you allowed them to deal with it. And now it's coming to bite you. Because you don't have food to put on your table. You can't pay your bills because you solely relied on them to be the ones to provide the way for you. That's no way to live, guys. Create your own way. You have to. And you have to stop giving up. Perfect example. I listened to this one person. He had gotten out of prison. and had listened to so many people that were in prison. And one of the things that he said, and it just registered, he said, the reason why people go to prison and stay there is because they give up on themselves. They gave up. They said they didn't want to do it no more. And they put themselves in a situation to where they just gave up. Now, everybody's not in that situation. Everybody doesn't have that same story. Everybody that's in prison don't have that same story. But what he was saying was that a lot of people have that story because they gave up. Because it was easy for them inside that jail. It's easy for them to be in that prison. You don't have no responsibilities. You don't have to worry about creating a way. You don't have to worry about taking care of anything. You don't have to worry about nothing when you're in there except for waking up, making sure that you have a bed, and making sure that you're getting your full meals every day. That's the only thing. And making sure you don't get yourself into no trouble while you're in there. That's the only thing that you mainly have to worry about while you're in prison. But the real responsibilities, the real prison is out here. Because you got to figure out how to maneuver through life. You have to tell yourself that even when times are hard and you don't feel like continuing on, I'm going to push through. I'm not going to let this moment of doubt put me in the ground. I'm not going to let this moment of doubt take away my freedom, take away my mind. Whenever you go to jail, you go to prison, they say that you don't do no thinking for yourself. Everything is on somebody else's time. You go to bed at a certain time. You wake up at a certain time. You eat at a certain time. And then they pay you pennies. And then you got some people that'll get out and then they'll go back because they missed being in there. Because it was easier in there than it was out here. It's sad, right? But it's because they gave up. They gave up. It was too hard for them. So instead of trying, instead of working on them, instead of building themselves up, and instead of continuing, they decided to give up. They decided to give up. This is the real playing field. We're in the real playing field. Get your head together. If you want something in life, you better go after it. Ain't nobody gonna give it to you. You gotta create it. Make the way that you say that you want. Stop giving up so easily just because it didn't plan out the way that you wanted it to the first time. It's not going to. And it may take a minute before it gets there, but you have to learn to keep going. You have to learn to keep your head in the game even when you don't want to. When the people are talking about you and saying what you can and what you cannot do, you have to keep your head on straight and say, this is my life. This is my reality. I created. No one else does that for me. I set the standards. Why am I allowing the government to create my reality? Why am I allowing them to say how much I can have and how much I can't have? It's because we have given up. We have given up on ourselves. I see people out on the street corner, y'all. This about to hit. This might even hurt some people, y'all, because when I realized this, y'all, it hit home for me. Because I used to feel so sorry for people that would stand on the street corner, holding a sign out there, asking people to bless them for the day. I used to feel really sorry. I'm not going to lie to y'all. And then the Most High woke me up and said, what are you feeling sorry for? They chose that way. They chose to give up. The situation that they were in was hard, but they made the choice to give up. Just as we all have the choice to continue our journey, they made the choice to give up. And now they're making the choice to stand on the corner to ask for you to bless them. They're asking you to bless them because they made the choice. And I know some of you are going to say, everybody isn't that's put in that situation, they shouldn't be put in that. But I'm going to tell you right now, I have listened to so many people that have been poor, bare bone, y'all. And the one thing they said was, I was down there and I didn't like the way it felt. So I got myself back up. You got to not like the way something feels in order for you to make that change. If you're happy with it, you're not going to want to make the change. See, my breakthrough came for me to make the change when I got injured. It was almost as if I was okay with working 70 plus hours a week. It was almost as if I was okay with not ever having time with my family. I was okay with being somebody else's slave. I was okay with that. And it wasn't until I reached a breaking point is when I realized that this is not okay. This is not okay. This is not okay. And we have to reach that breaking point, but we have to, as the individual, as the person, the main person in control of your life, you have to pull yourself out of it. You just have to. You have to pull yourself out of it. If you don't, you'll be forever in that rut. You'll be forever waiting for something that's not going to show up because you're not claiming the positiveness in your life. You're thinking about all the bad things that are going to happen. You're saying to yourself that somebody else is in control of your life. You're saying that that person is the reason why I'm not able to succeed. And that is a lie. They have nothing to do with you succeeding. Nothing. They only want you to think that the only way that you're going to be able to succeed is through them. That's not true. Salvation comes within you. That's the way that you succeed. Finding thyself approved. But you're steady dependent on somebody else to create the way for you. And then you're sad whenever they don't give it to you the way that you want it. But what if you tried a new thing? What if you try creating the way that you want yourself? Because if you create it, you get it exactly the way that you want it. Because you know the way that you want it. But we got to stop being lazy, stop giving up on ourselves, and realize that it's going to take us to create it. We have to be the ones to do it. No one else can do it for you. The government can't do it for you. They've only painted a picture for you to think that it's necessary for them to be there, to control your life, to tell you what you can and what you cannot do with your life. And the only reason why you're listening is because you don't have any other way. You don't know any other way. You've always depended on them. They've always created the way for you. Always. What you crying to them for? Oh, the groceries in the grocery store is so expensive. I can't even afford it. Okay, well, we'll go and grow some. I'm telling you, you cannot sit here and cry about the experience that you're having if you're not ready to create the one that you want. We have given them too much power. allowing them to think that they have control over your life. They're telling you how much money you're supposed to be making. They're setting your standards for you and telling you what you can and what you cannot do, how much sleep you get, how much vacation time you get, how much money you get to spend, who gets to live in lower class, who gets to live in middle class, who gets to be in the high class. Come on. What in the hell is really going on? What the hell is going on? Why are we allowing them to tell us how we need to create our lives instead of us creating the lives that we know that we need? The lives that we know that we should be granted, because it's our given right to have abundance. It's our God-given right to have wealth. And the only reason why you don't have it is because there's a group of people that felt like, you know what? I know the information, but I'm going to keep it all to myself, and I'm going to turn these people into slaves by not giving them that information. Because if they don't know it, how do they know how to change it? If they don't know that they're kings and queens, if they don't realize that they have the potential to do this and they're able to do that, then they won't be able to do it. Because we've stripped them from the knowledge. We've stripped them from their dreams. Make them work hard like slaves. Then they'll be tired. They'll be too tired to the point to where they won't even be able to go and dream and feel like they want to do something on their own. And then we'll rule over them. We'll make them forget about everything. Before we know it, they'll be our slaves and they won't even realize it. Guys, I'm telling you, we've all been bamboozled and tricked. But this is the real reality. The real reality is that we are allowing other people to create something that we know that we should be creating on our own. And we're sad that these places are not treating us the way that we should be treated. But why are we not treating ourselves the way we should be treated? Why are we not investing in ourselves and learning skills to help ourselves get to where we need to be? Why are we allowing other people to learn skills and then telling us that we can only use a certain amount of skills and only get paid a certain amount of money? Come on, y'all. Like, how do you even feel like you can't do anything else but do what they want you to do? I know how you feel. The reason you feel that way is because you've been brainwashed. I was right there too. And I told myself I ain't going back to sleep. I'm not doing it. And I'm telling you right now, you better wake up if you really want salvation. If you really want to free yourselves from being under somebody else's control, you need to wake up. You need to wake up. And you need to be honest with yourself and stop depending on somebody else to create the way for you and create that way for yourself. Because the only reason why you haven't is because you're lazy. You're unmotivated. You feel stressed out. You feel tired. But all of those are just excuses. And guess what? They're still running your life. They're still telling you what you can and what you cannot do. If you were building your own skills, you wouldn't have to be working on theirs. You're too busy telling yourself that you're too tired to work on your own skills, learn your own skills, figure out what you want to do with your life and work in that. It shocked me the other day. I was out delivering the mail, y'all. Lady came up to me. She said, "Girl, you got a good job. How old are you?" I said, I told her my age. "Girl, I wouldn't have thought that. You got a good job. You was doing good. Now, how did you get in this job at that age? You better stay in that and you better not let nobody take your spot." That's what she said to me, y'all. Now, usually I wouldn't have said anything to her because she's an elderly lady. But it was put on my spirit to tell her that no. Society has taught us to go get a good job and work in that job until you die. But let us take a different look at this, y'all. The moment I came into the post office, there was a sign on the time clock. And the sign was a notice that one of the fellow letter carriers had just passed away 3 days after he retired. Three days after he retired, he passed away. He sat in that chair and passed away, y'all. Why? Because he didn't know how to create anything for himself. He only seen himself doing what they wanted him to do. So when he couldn't do anything else, he was like, well, I don't feel good for anything else. I'm just going to sit in this chair and call it a day. And that's what he did. That man would have had so much potential, but he only seen somebody else's dream. He allowed somebody else to create his reality. He allowed somebody else to tell him that all I can do is work for a job and work this job day in and day out. And when they tell me to be off, that's when I'm going to be off. But I'm going to work this job. And then when I get tired, I'm going to retire. And then because I don't know what else I'm going to do, I'm going to be in this type of situation. That's no way to go, guys. That's no way. That is no way to live. Why are we waiting to retire? Why do I have to wait until I retire to get to the life that I want to live? So you mean to tell me I got to work all this time and I can't do nothing for myself? I just got to continue to work for you. That's what they want from you. They don't want you having no dreams. They keep you tired and overworked because they don't want you even thinking about doing nothing else. So if you waiting on them to change that situation for you and to make a better way for you, you're wrong. That's the wrong thing to do. That is the wrong thing to do. You're going to be waiting for forever because they're not going to do it. Now, you can learn a new skill. Learn a skill that's going to build you up. That's going to help you achieve whatever it is that you feel like you're good at. You have so many talents, so many gifts on the inside of you. And you don't realize that those gifts and those talents are skills that you already have. You're thinking that you got to have a degree, but you don't. You don't. The same way that you're committed to whatever 9-to-5 job it is that you have, you need to be committed to yourself as well. You need to realize that this government, these people, they're not here for you. They're not here to make you happy. At the end of the day, it's all about them. If you want somebody to think about you, you need to think about you. Don't nobody know what you want until you tell them that you want it. So you got to speak up. And you got to figure out what you're good at. Put that gift in action and help somebody. Because you can be amazing. You can do great things. The only reason why you're not doing it is because you weren't aware that you could. I'm telling you that you can. I'm telling you that if you don't have the skills, learn some skills. Because it's time out for depending on somebody else to create a way for us. It's time out for all that. It's time out for saying that I don't have this and I don't have that. Yeah, you don't have that. They don't care about you having that. Remember, that I word. If you want for you, you got to create for you. Closed mouth don't get fed. So that's my thought on all this, because it's poverty. It's poverty at its finest. And we have so many people walking around crying and basking in it. We can't do that. We can't do that. I've lived in poverty pretty much all my life. I know what that feels like. And I'm telling you, the moment that I woke up, I was so grateful. Your sleep. Your sleep, and that's the reason why you have a poverty mindset. Wake up. Wake up and use the gifts and the talents that you know are within the inside of you, that you know you can do something great with. Because these people, they just using your talents and they're not giving you nothing for it. They don't give a damn about you. You're just like those prisoners in the prison. Just like them, getting pennies on the dollar while you slaving away. The only difference is you get to go home to your family and they don't. But you're still in prison. If you want to get out of it, free your mind. Free your mind. And then you'll be able to get out of that mental prison that they have you in. All right, y'all. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.